Welcome to the online training for calibrating pesticide application equipment. The training is intended primarily for professional pesticide applicators working in turf and landscape, but it can be helpful to anyone who applies pesticides in other areas as well, including rights-of-way and uncultivated ground. You'll learn the basics of calibration and practical steps for calibrating many types of pesticide application equipment. This course gives an overview of different types of application equipment, including equipment used for liquid applications or granular applications. It presents the materials and information you should have before calibration, and it explains how to service the equipment before calibration. Finally, you'll go step by step through various calculation examples to make sure you know how to apply the correct amount of pesticide to a given area with a specific piece of equipment. So, let's get started. Calibration is the term for all of the adjustments you make to application equipment and the procedures you must follow so you know you're applying the correct amount of pesticide to a treatment area. Each pesticide label lists the amount of product required to control specific pests. While it is legal to use less pesticide than what the label recommends, it is usually not a good idea because using less can lead to an ineffective treatment, waste time and money, and increase the potential for pest resistance or resurgence. Never use more than what the label recommends. Using more than the label specifies waste materials and can injure treated plants. Applying pesticides at higher than the label rate can adversely affect non-target organisms such as natural enemies, present a greater health hazard to the applicators and the public, and negatively impact the environment. Finally, there is a higher risk of pesticide moving off-site in runoff or leaching into groundwater when more than labeled rates are applied. For a more in-depth look at this issue, see the Urban Pesticide Runoff and Mitigation online courses available from UCIPM. You are legally responsible for all the pesticides that you apply. If you make a pesticide application that injures plants, people, animals, or property, you'll be liable and may be subject to fines, jail sentences, or loss of your applicator's certificate or license. California has a Code of Regulations, CCR, dealing with pesticides and pest control operations. The California Department of Pesticide Regulation, CDPR, adopts regulations to clarify the law and provide more detail on equipment maintenance and calibration. For more information, visit their website. You should calibrate your pesticide application equipment several times a year. At the very least, calibrate at the beginning of the season after the equipment has been in storage for a while, and after that anytime something changes that can affect the application. For instance, calibrate when the rate or speed of application changes, when nozzles are replaced, or when you are using a new or different product. Some recalibration must occur each time a different person uses the equipment. Regular calibration is important even if you always spray the same pesticide at the same rate, because equipment parts such as nozzles and pumps are prone to wear, and that can affect their output rate. Before calibrating equipment, assemble the tools you will need. You need a stopwatch to time travel speed and flow rates. A 100-foot moisture and stretch-resistant measuring tape lets you mark off distance and measure swath width. Flags, flagging tape, or stakes are also useful for marking off measured distances. And keep a pocket calculator and paper and pencil handy to make calculations in the field. Liquid and granular application equipment have different calibration techniques and therefore require different calibration equipment. Keep calibrated containers and tools handy to measure spray nozzle output and pesticide. For larger powered equipment, a pressure gauge will help check boom pressure, and a flow meter can be used to measure the amount of water put into a tank. If you are using granules, you'll need a small scale that can measure in ounces and pounds, between 1 and 10 pounds, to weigh granules collected from a granule applicator. A tarp, funnels, or cups can help you collect granules. After you assemble the tools you need, read the pesticide label to determine the application rate. It may be stated as an amount of product per area. It can also be stated as a percentage or amount per gallon. Determine the size of the area or the number and size of the trees and shrubs you are treating. Be sure to wear personal protective equipment or PPE, including eye protection, chemical-resistant gloves, and closed-toed shoes or boots to protect yourself from spills or residues. Make sure the equipment is cleaned and use clean water when calibrating liquid pesticide equipment.